Alright, so this is Cat 5 at STEM CiderX, I think it's called. Anyway, it was a pretty fun course, we'll see. Started off pretty far to the back, and this was sort of at the bottom of the hill. You immediately just raced up the hill, which was pretty fun, but like kind of tough also. You can see a lot of crowds, like not really, there weren't really a lot of grade lines because this was super loose dirt and slipping and sliding was a lot, but you still could get some decent speed. Oof, look at that. And then here it's a huge choke point, so I just shifted way down and just took it nice and slow. Not get caught up in there and hopefully not burn out. Not that that didn't happen anyway, but yeah. Also, for what it's worth, my power meter kept dropping out, and so I wouldn't really rely on it if it says it's 0, honestly. But it is pretty fun to see like just how much power is actually being put out for going so fucking slow. And then there's this, it finishes at this huge hill that like you're already just wiped from that first one, and then you get to this steep motherfucker and you just hustle up. Some people rode it. I ran it here, but I probably should have ridden it and just hustled up, because between unclipping and clipping back in, I really lost a lot of time. Like right here it's not so bad, but later on in the race when I'm just beat, I'm just so slow to get up and so slow to get back on. So instead of barriers, they had barrels, and you had to weave your way through the barrels. I always took that right line, but the left side, you only had like a single turn to make, but it was a little tighter of a turn. So always just stuck with the right line because I liked it pretty good. And you can see here we just go down and back and down and back and down and back. A little bit of a slow up here because this is loose dirt and you just slide all over. I usually just unclipped and try to get around and pedal once and get clipped back in and hopefully not lose too much time. I really got to work on clipping back in though, because like half the time going down that second lap, that second leg I just get caught and wouldn't actually even be clipped in on my other foot, and so that was a little stressful, but not too bad. Just everyone's still mostly here together. I'm trying to conserve energy because I know I get beat up and completely destroyed it by the end of it. So I think it was put on by the Palmeiras folks, like the guy in front of me right here. And then this corner was a little wider, so you could actually take it with some speed. And then just some more dirt, lots of loose dirt. Yeah, like you can see here, my power meter's clearly just completely dropped. So hopefully I can get that figured out. Hopefully it's not just like busted. Another sharp turn. Ugh, that was bad. And then this was sort of single track-ish on the side of the hill, and so for the most part I didn't want to get too close to the people in front of me, but didn't want to not pedal at all either. I tried taking this bottom line a couple times and it just wasn't working. I didn't have enough traction to get up. Oh, there I fell. Hop back up, run to the flat part and get back on though. Yeah, so like I ended up taking that inside line and just pushed myself up a couple steps instead of taking that outside line and struggling to make it up. Here there's a little log you could just basically ride over. I pull my front wheel up a little bit just to hop over, but for the most part you didn't really need it. It was pretty smooth. That is unlike the railroad tie coming up here. Here's the start finish, but we started half a lap off. But the railroad tie up here was a little bit harder. I did see some later riders just hop it. I didn't want to fuck with that, so I just hopped off and ran over. And oh yeah, boom. That's why I'm not bunny hopping. I do. He's fine though. I'm friends with that guy. And then we have this horrific downhill with some really sharp corners, and it's still like slick from the rain the night before, so it's just completely muddy and wet. And even on foot here, this corner I'd slide out basically, and barely make it up. And after the race, someone told me I should have just kept running through this creek, but I'd hop back on here and go through, and that really wasn't the brightest. I should have just ran across that and then started right here. That was just fairly muddy, and I got caught. I'm still, I think, struggling to clip in right here. Just fighting with it. So yeah, then you kind of just descend in here. It's not too bad, and then you kind of ride the side of the hill again. A little steep part. And, ugh. There we go. It's actually kind of fun to ride that part. Then you just drop in all the way to the bottom, right where we started. And this I could have taken really. I did take it pretty fast, but unfortunately, with the loose dirt, it was still a little sketchy. I think I slide out right around here a little bit. Maybe not. That's the first lap, basically. So I don't know, I feel like, yep, this is sketch too, but I feel like I'm not strong enough to go this hard for the whole race, and thankfully everyone else is also beating a little bit, but I wonder if I was better off going slower like that dude and just taking it nice and easy and at a reasonable pace that I can hold versus just trying to keep up with the person in front of me, and if I fail, I fail. But then I'm really burnt out, so. Some of these parts were fast enough that drafting probably actually helped, but a lot of them were not. Yeah, so here on this hill, I just completely fried just getting up to this spot, and so by this time getting up this second hill is just not happening. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm still hustling at this point a little bit, but everyone is. This is a tough hill to get up. That guy's running, but the guy next to me is barely jogging, mostly walking. It's a good spot to watch from, though. Yeah, those barrels were fun though. And here, I really should have been hitting it harder, but I think myself and most of the other riders also were just burnt off that hill and didn't have that much energy to give. And I feel like every cross race designer is deliberately trying to make it harder than everyone else's. But the flat parts here were really not that bad.
That's the start of the single speed to it. Glad we have the officials here keeping it straight for us. 90 or so riders on course at once.
Yeah, I think I got to work on my handling, especially on this like loose dirt stuff. Just becoming more confident would help me so much. Just being able to take those at faster speeds. Really like wiped out once or twice on them in the pre-ride, and just kind of scared at them during the actual race. Kind of like with the railroad tie. I'm just after seeing my buddy Mike wipe out, I just had zero interest in actually trying to jump those. This corner I did get like better as I kept riding, just being able to take that a little sharper and come out with a little bit more speed. But this part was fun. It was turning back the other way that was not so much fun. Right here, yeah, just unclipped and just pushed a couple steps just to get up to the top and then get right back on it. That's lap 2 or lap 1.5. I'm not really sure how they counted this, but yeah. Yeah, I probably should have kept pedaling a little bit more and came into that with more speed, and hopefully not lose as much. And it was just kind of hard because this between the like railroad tie and the hill was long enough that you really should bike it, but not so long that you actually could really put much speed down if you were planning on clipping and running it. And here we almost went down there. Yeah, you can see everyone's pushing their bike up that hill. Even the people in front of me are just like completely miserable. And that's in the shade, so it's not going to get any less slick on that downhill. So actually, I thought that guy was lapping me because he came down that hill so much faster than I was, and it turns out he was just really good at descending it, so he was actually on my lap, I think. Just really good at descending that, I guess. Yeah, but like snippets of the power seem like pretty fucking high. Like every time I do see a snippet, it's like 300-400 watts for at least a little bit. So like hopefully I can get a race where I get like a full power meter data and I can actually see the whole thing. Be very beneficial. And like there's already people walking their bikes up this hill. So I at least managed to stay on my bike on the first half. It was just that steep bit on the end that I just did not have the motor to keep going up that. Thankfully at this point it was both my legs and my heart that was completely dead, so I didn't really feel like I was being super limited on either one, but yeah, like that was a really terrible dismount, just stepping off and walking. There goes the first time I'm getting lapped about 2-ish laps into the race. Not sure if that's the kid that won, but like all these BJC kids, just absolutely disgusting tearing up this course. tearing up every course really, but yeah, I even took my sunglasses off. But I think the race ultimately got won by some 15-year-old kid. Yeah, but even 2 laps in, I'm just completely shot at this point. Like, nothing left. It's just weird seeing like random spikes of power where I'm able to spike up to like 300, which with my FTP is like 230-ish, so like that's pretty good, but I just wish I could see the actual like overall data and not just little snippets, because like who knows how hard it actually was.
This is rider 289.
There's another BJC kid, just ripping it up. I think I tried to stay on him and it lasted all about 10 seconds. Yeah, foot off really helped just throw the bike, basically whip it around the corner while hopefully maintaining some of the speed. I'm not sure if that's actually how you're supposed to do it, but I found that worked better than staying clipped in and trying to like navigate it with like both feet and shifting my weight. That little hop. In this corner I felt like I should be able to corner faster, but every time I did it, the bike would not turn from under me sharper than it did. So I'm not sure if I just need to like shift my weight and be a little more flexible with it, or if I'm just misunderstanding what the limits are. Little hop there, hammer it down the finish. Every lap I gave the guys sort of like the, surfer hang 10 wave, and they seemed to like it, but didn't help my actual finish at all. Still pretty fast going over the hill there, or the tie. Yeah, and at this point I'm letting a couple of people passing me go through, although looking at it, that says I thought that guy was passing me, but he's not on my, here he is on my lap, so I probably shouldn't have let him get through. Like even running, I can figure out how to get down that hill without basically falling over. And here I waited way too long to let some people cut through that I thought were passing me, and they were passing me but not lapping me, so that was a dumbass mistake on my part. I need to be a little more assertive about just like, if you're passing me, like expect people to say something, or I don't know, be a little more cognizant of who is fast enough to be lapping me, and like sort of what they look like. Like obviously all the BJC kids are in the fastest category. But that guy's ripping it, so he's probably. But the dude in front of him in black was on my lap, so I shouldn't have let him get by me like that. But I caught him pretty quick on that, so he must have been burning a lot more speed, and then I just tear right by him here. Can't remember if he passes me back up. I think he probably does, but we'll see. Interesting that the power meter always comes back right here and then immediately dies. I wonder if something's probably loose in it. Still hustling to get up this hill, but like, I'm also wondering if I would have been better off. I'm not sure that I could take it much slower, but maybe a tad slower and not burn myself out as much, and then actually be able to ride up the second half of the hill. I think that guy was passing me, or lapping me, I should say. But like right here, I'm just so dead. It was awful. Had nothing in the tank. Like, yeah, 1 mile an hour. Oh god. This is really not a good show. And there goes another BJC kid just hauling ass up there. Another guy actually running it. BJC kid. And those were all definitely laps. Also noticing it, if I feel like it's getting angled down. It's definitely angled down too much, but I'm wondering if it got angled down through like some jostling or something. You can see the my Garmin is in the bottom right corner there.
Second place,
some more people passing, or lapping, I should say.
Kirby Phil. 30 seconds down. 40 seconds.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's just better cornering technique or just more power out of the corner, just be able to get that big of a gap going just off that one corner there. The guy in the pink bike ahead of me. I think the guy in black ahead of me is still on my lap. Like, I think we traded back and forth maybe a couple times. I don't know, I was not really focused on who was on my lap and who was not, but more focused on just trying to survive the course. And here there's a huge pile up just of people trying to get around this corner, like, which wasn't me, it was mostly people on the lead lap actually, so not sure what happened there, but took a little bit of a breather. BJC kid, I don't know that he really cornered better. I think he just put down some power and got a gap. I didn't even see that guy coming. He just flew by me. Yeah, I'm really struggling after those. And here that guy took way more tight of an inside line than I thought. Like he was swinging way wide and he got pissed, which, sorry dude. Like half of these I wouldn't get clipped in, and so I'm like hitting that. It's basically just mud and then getting up over the hill, and that was not the most fun thing to do. Have your bike skidding around without actually being clipped in and having control of it. I think that might actually be the second time that kid lapped me. I definitely got lapped twice by the end of the race, which, funny enough, I think the initial results had me at like 12th, because I think they probably didn't think I got lapped twice, but still waiting to see what actually came out of that. Obviously going to let them know if they have me as 12th that I was in no way or shape 12th. Which I figure they're probably pretty chill with adjusting down, and probably a lot easier than trying to get it adjusted back up. But I got the GPS data to show how many laps I actually did. Oh, just completely shot here.
Oh, Phil's coming up the outside. That's fun, Mr. Henry.
But yeah, there's good race together. I would have liked him to. You definitely got to pick out a best shot. Yeah. You are shocking, so.
Yeah, I'm just getting laughed by basically everyone right here.
Great job, Racer. PL 3. And I see our leader Magnus. He's just passed through the barrels.
I do think I got a little bit better about like actually taking a decent line and like not just letting people pass and let me. Yeah, I took that dumbass right side there to let that guy pass me, which was just like no fucking reason for that. I shouldn't have done it, but I did.
Come on, Blaze. Line it up.
Passing the racer shot's not coming.
Yeah, there was someone actually bunny hopping it, which like damn. I think this time I tried carrying it, which didn't work too badly, but it was nice having the wheel on the ground and actually having that third point of contact, though. Let me tippy toe around that corner and get up here and get going again.
1 million or so.
And also, I'm pretty sure this is the last lap. For a total of, I think, 5.5 laps. Yeah, I took my foot off the pedal for a lot of that corner, but I'm not quite sure it needed it. Like, I think there was only one time that I skidded out and I I was clipped in, and so every time after that I didn't, and I didn't really feel like I used my foot that much, so maybe it would have been better to just stay clipped in, but who knows. And once again, I walk it up the hill. I just need to figure out, like, if I'm just so out of shape that I can't really actually make it up this and just through cross races in general, or if I'm just doing something horrifically wrong. Like, I know someone's mentioned, like, maintaining momentum makes up for a lot of this, but I don't know. Like, I was burnt out even lap like 2 or 3, so like, even if that is part of it, I'd still have burnt out well before the end of the race. But maybe if it's only the last lap, that's better. Hopefully with a power meter I'm able to get some better insight into, like, where I'm blowing all my energy. We'll see though. I think it was right around about this point that I knew I was going to be for sure the last lap, because they talked about, like, the leaders coming through the barrels like a little bit. I think the last lap, and I was maybe like a half a lap past that, so I knew that I would be sort of lapped again before I finished the line, like, relative to that last lap. So I'm not sure I'm making much sense. So I think right around here, I end up deciding I'm going to try and stick with this BJC rider and just follow and hope to just keep my speed as high as possible for the last half lap, and it does kind of pay off, because, or at least I think it paid off. We'll see, because I think when he passes this guy here, I follow him and just go right past this guy who's just sitting up, taking the corner easy, and go a little hard into that corner, but I still managed to stay ahead of him. And I'm not sure if he was a lap ahead of me or he was on my same lap, and we were both riding for the same position. But I actually managed to cut this corner tighter than the BJC kid, who I think still makes it by me just through raw power. I'm not really fighting for him because I know he's definitely a lap ahead of me, so I'm fine just sitting behind and getting a little bit of a breather, as much as can be when you're going like 10 miles an hour. I didn't want to follow too closely. I'm also pretty sure I was burnt out at this point, so I couldn't, because but I didn't want to, like, hit that, and then here I go and I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna just, try and sprint past this guy. And so I just take off, I launch, and he still, I think, beat me by a hair, but like a lap ahead or 2 laps ahead of me. But it was still fun. And then here I'm done. So wheel it under to get off the course and toss it against the rock, which scraped the frame just a little bit, and down I am, down for the count. Kapow.